Hi, folks. I'm Chris Daly, and it's my pleasure to have great conversations with great Jamaicans doing great things. And we do have a great Jamaican today. He's Mr. Michael Irving Phillips. He's an author. His latest work is A Jamaica Pour No More, and he'll be sharing us. He's written a one-man production, Hot Callaloo newsletter, and he's been doing this thing from 1992 to 1999. He then moved that onto a web base to hotcallaloo.com. He was born, of course, in Jamaica, migrated to the United States to do education at Howard University, where he received his MA in education and BS in chemistry. He'll be talking about some very contemporary issues today and give us his wisdom. And to do the interview is my partner in crime, Janice. Janice, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. And Michael, welcome back.
Glad to be here again.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Michael has blessed us before. So we ask that you go into the archives and listen to the first one, the first interview. But for those of you who don't know Michael, you are a proud Jamaican. So tell us a little bit about your family roots.
Well, I grew up in Kingston, went to KC for 3 years, and then we moved to Mandeville, and so I finished my high school at Manchester High School. Mm-hmm. After that, I spent a year working in Jamaica and then left for Howard University to for my college degrees that were mentioned before.
So, as you know, that all three of us are Howard alums, different years, but the same spirit.
A lot different.
I think it's in the DNA, if you're from Jamaica, if you don't go to UE, if you stay home, you go to UE. If you travel, you go to Howard. I think that might be what's going on here. But hail up to Howard, because lots of fine Jamaicans have come through the gates of Howard. You migrated to the U.S. due to education. What has life been like for you in the diaspora?
Well, I worked my way through college, and my first job was a messenger for Western Union, delivering telegrams on a bicycle. I don't think many people have that experience, but it gave me a good introduction and cross-section of America at an early time, and I thought that was invaluable. So that perspective and the cross-section, I thought, was very important and very shaping of what life was like in America.
I see. When I left Jamaica, they were still doing bicycles for the post office. I don't really remember, so I do remember mail carriers doing the bicycle thing. Well, I mean, not Western Union, but I'm talking about in Jamaica. I do remember that. You've had a broadcast medium and newsletter since the early 90s. What motivated you to start such an initiative?
Well, I felt that there were things I did not know going on in the Caribbean. And I felt it was crucial for me to know them, and I thought it was crucial for all Caribbean student members like me to keep in touch. And I tried to produce everything which I think every Caribbean person should know as a minimum. That was my objective in doing that. And I got into it, and I just couldn't stop.
So, and that was the backstory about the name, Hot Callaloo?
Hot Callaloo.
The reason why I ask is because if you say Caribbean, I don't know if the other islands call it Callaloo. Are we the only ones?
I know in Trinidad, actually, I think they call it bargee, but the dish is Callaloo after it's cooked.
So it's bargee when it goes into the pot, and then after it's cooked, it's
the
called
plant
callaloo?
itself. I think that's what it's called, and then the dish is callaloo. But my hot callaloo, we know it is the sort of the Jamaican spinach version of spinach.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember skipping. I don't know if kids do that, but where you have they call it jump rope here in America.
Yeah, I remember.
Where two people, and I go way back. And
I do kind of remember. I mean, like when you did faster, how come, and then you would just do it faster.
No, it's more.
Is that what you
they had skipping rhymes, and one of them was mosquito 1, mosquito 2, mosquito jump in the hot callaloo. And there was
I do remember
I wanted
that.
people to jump in a hot callaloo. Those skipping rhymes were sort of cute. Room for rent, inquire within. When you run out, I run in. I mean, I suppose those are way back in the distant past, but I remember those things. But that is really.
I do, yeah. I mean, when you brought it, when you mentioned it, it did trigger a memory, and I was like, I do remember how callaloo. Just like with the bicycle. I remember the the postman with the white shirt and the black pants riding on the bicycle. Yeah, so share with us your perspective on what are the elements Jamaica has been blessed with to establish its positive future.
Oh, yes. I would pick out resilience as the real outstanding characteristic of Jamaica. Life has not been easy, but they have not. They bend, but they don't break. They are resilient, and that I think is a tremendous asset that Jamaicans have.
Yeah, and that's the way to survive too.
Definitely.
Because if you're static, it's just not going to work out. Because just a decade ago, people weren't doing Facebook and Twitter and these kind of things, and now it's pretty much, a necessity, at least in the business world, to be on LinkedIn and things of that nature, You have now written an insightful book regarding wealth creation in Jamaica. Tell us, what motivated you to write such a book?
Well, I spend a lot of time thinking about things. And one thing, Jamaica is not considered a poor country. It's considered, it's not poor, it's a developing country. And I said, is it? That is just a euphemism to me. I don't find it's developing. And when will we become developed? And so I was very concerned about that. And that rested on my mind. And I was not satisfied with our failure to develop. And I felt there has to be some alternative. And I think I came up with the alternative that will develop Jamaica.
Yeah, because some of the ideas, for and whoever you talk to, whether it's the economist or whatever, for anything any country to do, you have to go into production mode. You cannot be a worker and a consumer. If you're a worker and consumer, you're just doomed. And so some of the ideas that you brought forth in the book, they were, I think they were relevant to this climate. And no, Jamaica, I don't believe Jamaica is a poor country. Jamaica is no more poor than Africa. Africa is the wealthiest continent on the planet. But
they're poor. But they're wealthy, but they're poor. There must be something wrong there. And I believe we're just doing the same old things over and over again. And I believe we've got to completely break from that.
Yes, and I think, and by writing such an intriguing book and laying out these suggestions, that audience, you simply must read this book and find out some of the ideas that will make Jamaica poor no more, as you say in your title. What are the 3 principles you wanted the reader to appreciate as they get inspired by reading your fine work?
Well, I would say I've written 3 books, 3 nonfiction books, anyhow,
and they're great reads.
And they should be almost considered a trilogy because they revolve around what I call the Goodwill Revolution. And the first one, I introduced the Goodwill Revolution, the principles of it. And the second one, I applied it to American ghetto to elevate it out of that status. And this one is the Goodwill Revolution is a critical part of improving and the quality of life in Jamaica. So it's a whole book here. That's almost a whole book that question requires. But basically, I believe the problem is we've got to abandon our lust for money and power and material things. And I provide.
So is that a Jamaican thing or a human thing? A human nature thing?
Well, that's how Jamaica will have to improve. And so not only Jamaica, it will work anywhere. As I said, it'll work. And my recommendation for Jamaica will fit any other poor or developing country.
Yeah. So you like I say, you're asking you about the principles you wanted the reader to appreciate as they get inspired. So you have a poem to inspire us?
Well, we are the diaspora, and that is good, but it's for some of us it's worse than that. We're almost as if we're exiled from Jamaica. And this poem is called Jamaica Exile. Okay, here goes. Jamaica Exile. Imprisoned in my home, sweet home, behind iron bars that lets in the sunshine but keeps out crime, is not for me anymore. For Jamaica bleeds, stabbed in the heart repeatedly by ruthless thugs of crime, and Jamaicans die and fear death even behind their iron bars that let in sunshine but keeps out crime. And because of these ruthless thugs of crime, Jamaicans leave, exiled to a foreign land, to leave behind distrusted politicians, trapped in stereotypes, to serve a cynical public and hopelessly watch as crime plan after new crime plan failed, and even innocent children die, and heartless thugs triumph. To leave behind their yam and sweet potato for foreign fast, cholesterol-filled food, leave behind their tropic night filled with reggae music, leave behind their seas so blue before it turns red with the blood of Jamaica, before laughter turns to screams, before laughter turns to slaughter. To leave all that behind for exile in some uncaring foreign land, for anonymity, to adopt a foreign culture and live in the memory of a crime-free Jamaica, without iron bars to let in sunshine, but to keep out crime. It is not a life without Jamaica. I am alive, but I am not kicking.
Wow. The way that ends, it makes you like, It's like a Lucille Clifton poem. I don't know if you're familiar with her. When she always ends the poem, just like, boof, like a penny. It just drops at the end, like, nice. So Jamaica.
Well, I wanted to create an effect like that, and and in my book, I deal with crime. I deal with how to prevent crime, and we have right now we have the all sorts of security going on there now. In states of emergencies and all that type of thing, and crime is one of the biggest problems in Jamaica. And unless my book would be incomplete if I didn't address that. And once again, I have a complete different perspective on crime.
Yeah, definitely. But the main thing for crime is poverty. The reason why there's poverty is the lack of jobs, and so we can't keep importing. We've got to produce. So what are the hurdles to get to that production mode? What are the hurdles we face in realizing our full potential?
Well, as I said before, I spoke. We have a cultural problem in that this lust for money is a big thing. Now, I'd like to read a quote from Shakespeare because this is very important. And it's from Hamlet. What a piece of work is man, how noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form, in moving, how express and admirable in action. In action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. I believe that man is naturally good, as this description of Shakespeare said. But I think our culture has undermined that goodness, that lust for money and power has undermined that goodness. And what we need is a culture that reinforces this goodness. And that is what I call the Goodwill Revolution, which is my 3 books are based on that. Yeah. I make out how this is not just pie in the sky idealism, but how it is a practical thing if we give it a chance, and it is feasible.
It is feasible, and because Jamaica seems to be poised to restart its economy in the post-COVID-19 world, if you had the Prime Minister's ear, and I've been told he listens to this podcast, what wisdom would you share?
Well, I think part of that I think we should have a national policy of goodwill towards all. And this is that same philosophy that I have here. One of the biggest problems we have in Jamaica and over the world, Jamaica is not unique, is the polarization of its people. Goodwill towards all means you committing yourself to goodwill to all, regardless of race, culture, socioeconomic status. In Jamaica, unfortunately, we still have a class system and we have political polarization. My book undermines all that, and it does create, it turns people into a network of support. And I think if by achieving that, we will have probably the greatest country in the world. I am looking to the top. Right now, I think we look too much towards the old European countries and America, and America is a disaster right now with the head of the country like that. There's no leadership in the world today. I think we could be that leader. Just because we're small is not
but like
something to hold us back.
When they say we little but we talawa, and let's be honest,
right.
Look at our structure stems from the UK, and if you look at the UK, it's really just an island, I mean, a lot of people don't realize that England is really just a little island, and it literally, there was a saying at one point, the sun never sets on the British Empire. So just because you're little, it doesn't mean that you can't take down Goliath or run things.
Right.
Because the British certainly did, And when you think about, you were talking about for people starting out, for example, if you're a student and you find themselves looking at a career to start in this world, what would you say to them? What advice would you share?
I'm sorry, would you repeat that again?
Okay. Let's say if you're a student and who finds himself looking at a career to start in this world, what advice would you share?
Oh, okay. Well, the IT is everything these days, the information technology. And I think that is very important, and that is a great direction to go in. However, and this has been brought up to me recently because of the COVID thing. They're rushing to get vaccines and treatment for it. And the problem, what is the motivation? For some, the motivation is, I'll be a millionaire if I come up with that, as opposed to I'll be saving human life. And Jonas Salk, who invented the polio vaccine, when they ask him about patented, he says, no, this is for everyone. And he made a dramatic. Well, I hope that we not only do we get into an occupation that is helpful to all around him, but that we maintain a spirit like that we are going beyond just making money, but we want to help the world. We want to help Jamaica. We want to help the people around too.
Right.
At the same time.
Yes. And let's say it's 2030, and you look into your crystal ball, and tell us, what would you see? Because folks have adopted your wisdom from your fine piece of literature work that you in the Jamaican Notebook more publication.
What was the question again? I don't know, maybe I'm on my cell phone. Maybe that's the problem.
I understand. Don't walk around. No, if you stay stationary, it's good. Look into your crystal ball and tell us what you see. Let's say it's 2030. 2030. So it's like 10 years from now. Okay, and a lot happens in 10 years, right? Because people have adopted some elements in your from your book, what do you see? Because folks have adopted your wisdom.
Well, I already stated it. I see Jamaica as the greatest country in the land.
Nice.
And I'm saying that because if we adopt the policy, you look all over the world, and what is happening? It's the division. People are killing their own people. You look at the Rohingyas in Myanmar. You look even in America here, the divisions in people here, the hatred. We can't take that for granted, and that could come to Jamaica too, because it's sweeping the world all over the place. With my philosophy, with my cultural trends, we will not have that problem. As a matter, which is badly needed, and that not only will we not be poor anymore, but we will be more morally superior. That's what I say. Instead of being financially superior, I think my goal is to be morally superior. And so that's what my plan is in 10 years.
So when we read this book, we are going to have a blueprint of some of the things that we could incorporate to reduce crime, because you have some job ideas that we should, some industries that we should get involved in, and I strongly agree with that. I absolutely. And if we adopt some of those industries, we will be in a production mode. And if we're in a production mode, we are producing jobs for our community. And if we have time to be working, we don't have time to stand in the corner and watch other people and think of things that you shouldn't be thinking of. So what closing statements do you want to share?
Well, my closing statement is the goodwill to all. It's
goodwill to all, and not just Christmas.
No, do good, and doing good is not hard to do. It's just that we have not made it a high priority. And you let doing good whenever you get a chance, and you make that be a habit. In other words, instead of filling our pockets, as the title of my last chapter is, instead of filling your pockets, fill your soul.
Right. And you've given us some very soul-enriching things to meditate on. You've provided a blueprint of how we can be creative and work on the resources that we have as a Jamaican. So we're going to test your Jamaicanness, okay? So, Bammy or Festival with Fish? What do you think?
Bammy.
Reggae or dancehall?
Reggae, come on, no comparison.
Domino or Ludi?
Well, I don't know what Ludi must be after my time there. So I'd have to go with
Parcheesi.
Domino.
I think they call it Parcheesi in the U.S.
Oh, okay.
The game Parcheesi?
Domino, come on, no question about that.
Okay. All right. So to learn more about Jamaican diaspora, visit JamaicanDiaspora.com. To learn more about Chris Daly, visit Digital to Grow. That's the digital with the number 2 grow. To learn about Michael Irving's latest book, Jamaica No More, it gives you soul enrichment. It gives you a blueprint of some industries that we should tap. Visit hotcalaloo.com. Michael, thank you so much for spending some time with us. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Thank you very much, and you be safe and be well.
Okay, thanks.